Nadar was the pseudonym of Gaspard-Félix Tournachon, a French photographer, caricaturist, journalist, novelist, and balloonist. Photographic portraits by Nadar are held by many of the great national collections of photographs. Life. Nadar was born in April 1820 in Paris. His father, Victor Tournachon, was a printer and bookseller. After his father's death, Nadar decided to quit his medical studies for economic reasons. Nadar started working as a caricaturist and novelist for various newspapers. He fell in with the Parisian bohemian group of Gerard de Nerval, Charles Baudelaire and Théodore de Banville. His friends picked a nickname for him, Tournadar, which later became Nadar. His work was published in Le Charivari for the first time in 1848. In 1849, he founded the Revue Comique and the petty journal Pour Rire. From work as a caricaturist, he moved on to photography, particularly portraits. He opened his photography studio in Rue Saint-Lazare in 1854 and moved to 35 Boulevard des Capucines in 1860. Nadar photographed a wide range of personalities, politicians, stage actors, writers, painters, and musicians. Portrait photography was going through a period of native industrialization, and Nadar refused to use the traditional sumptuous decors, preferred natural daylight, and despised useless accessories. In 1886, with his son Paul, he did what may be the first photo report, an interview with the great scientist Chevreul. It was published in Le Journal Illustré. He took his first photographs in 1853 and in 1855 opened a photographic studio at 25 Boulevard des Capucines, and in 1858 he became the first person to take aerial photographs. This was done using the wet plate collodion process, and since the plates had to be prepared and developed while the balloon was aloft, Nadar experienced problems caused by the chemical action on the plates of gas escaping from the balloon, eventually overcome by using a gas-proof cotton cover over the balloon basket. He also pioneered the use of artificial lighting in photography, working in the catacombs of Paris. He was the first person to photograph above ground with his balloons, as well as the first to photograph below ground, in the Parisian catacombs. In 1863, Nadar commissioned the prominent balloonist Eugene Goddard to construct an enormous balloon, 60 meters high and with a capacity of 6,000 cubic meters, and named Le Gaspard-Félix, thereby inspiring Jules Verne's 5 weeks in a balloon. Le Gaspard-Félix was badly damaged at the end of its second flight, leading Nadar to the conviction that heavier-than-air machines would be more successful. Later, the Society for the Encouragement of Aerial Locomotion by means of heavier-than-air machines was established, with Nadar as president and Verne as secretary. Nadar was the inspiration for the character of Michael Arden in Verne's From the Earth to the Moon. On his visit to Brussels with Le Gaspard-Félix on the 26th of September 1864, Nadar erected mobile barriers to keep the crowd at a safe distance. Crowd control barriers are still known in Belgium as Nadar barriers. During the Siege of Paris in 1870–71, Nadar was instrumental in organizing balloon flights carrying mail to reconnect the besieged Parisians with the rest of the world, thus establishing the world's first air mail service. In April 1874, he lent his photo studio to a group of painters to present the first exhibition of the Impressionists. He photographed Victor Hugo on his deathbed in 1885. He is credited with having published the first photo interview, and also took erotic photographs. From 1895 until his return to Paris in 1909, the Nadar photo studio was in Marseille. Nadar died in 1910, aged 89. He was buried in Père Lachaise Cemetery in Paris. The studio continued under the direction of his son and long-term collaborator, Paul Nadar. Works. Towards the end of his life, Nadar published Quand j'étais Photographic, which was translated into English and published by MIT Press in 2015. The book is full of both anecdotes and samples of his photography, including many portraits of recognizable names. Gallery. Citations.